By now I'd like to think you all know the drill. Smug observation about the preceding year, moderately obscure snarky allusion to the coming year, grim gallows humor musing about the act of living through the unfolding of the end of the American experiment, with self-satisfied segue to reference about my Shushe So Shongwen Yifang Wan Yi, ending on earnest appeal to the spirit of optimism and my glum resentment at still having to explain that the reason the list is mostly mainstream Hollywood blockbusters is because I can only base the projections on films we know are coming out in 2018, and the fresh crop of independent features, foreign language releases, and smaller prestige films are still being set up and in some cases still in production. Hell, I'm writing this as the Sundance Festival is only just getting underway. Did you know Kristen Stewart and Chloe Sevigny did a Lizzie Borden movie? Neither did I, but you bet your ass I want to see it whenever it comes out. Anyway, here's the top 10 movies I'm most looking forward to in 2018. Honorable mention, Transformers Universe, Bumblebee. Yes, really. Okay, so the Transformers movies have all been different flavors of terrible, but supposedly they're doing these spin-offs and prequels and maybe kind of soft rebooting the whole thing, and Michael Bay finally seems ready to go off and do anything else at this point, so maybe there's hope. Look, all I know is this one is supposed to be a big departure from the other five, will be a prequel set in 1987, features a female human lead in Haley Steinfeld, the almost always enjoyable John Cena in a supporting role, Bumblebee in his original G1 Volkswagen form, is apparently aimed at a younger audience than whoever was supposed to enjoy the other ones, and will be the live-action directing debut of Travis Knight, who did Kubo and the Two Strings for Laika last year, so cautious optimism? Honorable mention, Elita, Battle Angel. I think the anime eyes and live-action thing looks kinda interesting, okay? And we're gonna see this kind of partial digital augmentation more and more, so it has to get experimented on somewhere. I'm also kind of intrigued to see how the casting controversy stuff shakes out. On the one hand, it's another manga adaptation with even fewer Japanese people in it than Ghost in the Shell, so that kinda sucks, but on the other hand, a bunch of the characters, including Elita herself, are being played by Black and Latino actors, and the manga was actually set in Colorado, not Japan, right? So, interesting, at least. Look, Robert Rodriguez is one of those guys who seems to like making movies more than he likes having made a good movie, but when he actually engages beyond just throwing shit together on green screen with actors he's friends with, he's made some genuinely awesome films. Maybe this will be one of those? Honorable mention, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World was dumb, I still loved it, fuck you. You know why? I like dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs tearing shit up, I like dinosaurs eating dudes, stomping on people, fighting each other, in general, fucking up the place. I can't get enough of it. I like good movies with dinosaurs, I like bad movies with dinosaurs, I like really bad movies with dinosaurs, I like movies with monsters that are kinda like dinosaurs, I even like Denver the Last Dinosaur. If it were up to me, I'd get a new dinosaur movie every couple of weeks, but for some reason Hollywood thinks only Jurassic Park is allowed to use dinosaurs, so I'm still showing up to get my fix no matter what, and I don't care if everything after the first one disrespected the legacy of what's, let's be honest, a second-tier Steven Spielberg movie. What's this one even about? The Islands of Volcano now? Good, I like volcano movies too. Fuck you. Honorable mention, Ready Player One. Okay, so Ready Player One was a pretty cleverish idea put together haphazardly by a presumably well-meaning author who seemed to know where the concept should go, but didn't really fully grasp his own implications, or maybe didn't really believe what he sensed should be the conclusion of it anyway, and the whole thing just wound up being kind of insufferable in my opinion, even as I can tell that why a lot of people liked it or wanted to like it. Look, the only way what is essentially Funko Pop 2018 catalog the movie was not going to be a cringing embarrassment is if they somehow got the best film director on the planet to make it, and, well, fuck a duck, look at that. Yeah, Spielberg's been on a goddamn hot streak lately, and if he can hammer even a 3-star movie out of this thing, we may actually have to concede that he's the best there's ever been. Okay, now to the real top 10. Number 10, Ocean's 8. Great cast, good director, reliable formula. I'd be rooting for this one even if it wasn't a sorry spectacle to see the shut-in woman haters club pretending to lose their shit over the sullied integrity of a 3-installment George Clooney takes his friends on vacation and gets paid for it franchise. It looks good, I like the cast, this should be fun. Number 9, The Incredibles 2. This was obviously going to be on here, but why isn't it higher? Because it's possible we may have placed too much faith in Brad Bird, right? Yeah, great episodes of The Simpsons, yes, Iron Giant, Ratatouille, and the first Incredibles are classics, but since then, be honest, do you remember anything about that Mission Impossible movie? Then Tomorrowland turned out to be some kind of nutsoid Ayn Rand fanfiction that kinda cast the premise of The Incredibles in a potentially creepy new light, so maybe this one isn't a guarantee? We'll find out, but the fact is The Incredibles is one of, if not the best Pixar movie ever released, and it's been 14 goddamn years of waiting on another one, so damn right I'm there. Number 8, Padmavat. I am not nearly as familiar with Indian popular cinema as I should be, and I'm definitely not familiar enough with the work of celebrated director Sanjay Leela Bhansali or top-billed star Deepika Padukone, and I have only a passing familiarity with the 16th century epic poem dramatizing the partly folkloric account of a 12th century historical tragedy surrounding the siege of a fortress in Rajputana that it's inspired by. Here's what I do know, that this is not only one of the most expensive and ambitious productions in the nation's storied filmmaking history, it's been so extensively attacked by certain cultural conservative activist groups in the country in the form of vandalism, mob violence, destruction of sets and property, and even threats on the lives of actors and filmmakers that it almost didn't get finished, and there was a real question of whether government censors would allow it to open, so damn right I want to find out what's up. Plus it looks really cool. Number 7, A Wrinkle in Time. An all-time sci-fi classic that's never had a definitive adaptation is reason enough to be looking forward to this one, but you know what I really dig about this so far? That it's a blockbuster that seems to have almost zero interest in appealing to the aesthetic, tonal, or subjective taste of the traditional blockbuster demographic, by which I mean it looks like they found the world's most obnoxious 12-year-old boy, sat him down in front of all their concept art and casting decisions, and everything from the Lisa Frank color scheme to Oprah as a magical mentor that made him go,
"Dude, that looks so gay."
They made sure to put in the goddamn movie. Is it gonna work? Hell if I know. This is not a conceptually simple story to adapt, or else we probably would have had one before this. But this and at least one other movie on this list feels like an early glimpse at the future of globalized popular cinema, and that's pretty goddamn exciting. Number 6, Avengers Infinity War. If Age of Ultron went wrong in one specific overall way, and I still think it's good, it's just not good enough, it's that it took itself a little too seriously. Civil War, Jessica Jones, and Punisher proved the Marvel Cinematic Universe can go dark, Winter Soldier, Ragnarok, Luke Cage, and Guardians 2 proved it can do thoughtful, but big crossover team-ups are meant to be a fireworks display above all else, where plot and theme take a distant backseat to watching the characters and personalities bounce off each other. And Marvel's whole thing works because they put the characters and personalities before pretty much every other concern, so this 10-year anniversary blowout should be a goddamn riot. A lot of that is going to depend on whether or not that vaunted character-building skill can finally turn Thanos from an abstract threat into a three-dimensional villain, but at this point, the safe bet is that the bar will probably be raised for the superhero genre yet again. Number 5, Spider-Man, Enter the Spider-Verse. I really wish they hadn't given it that title. It feels just kind of unfair that Miles Morales' big feature debut is not only pointedly not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe officially, but has a title and apparently a premise that both, whatever else they were intended to do, put a giant spotlight on him as not the real or only one of many alternate Spider-Men. That just kinda sucks, especially since I don't think Homecoming was any better than just okay, and I'm more convinced than ever that the MCU should have just accepted Peter Parker had his definitive movies already and just started off with Miles to begin with. That being said, this looks stylish as hell. Lord and Miller haven't let us down on screen yet. Grumping about the other stuff aside, I'm hoping this one shakes out on the good side. Number 4, Crazy Rich Asians. Is this on your radar? Probably not, since it doesn't have a trailer yet, but maybe it should be. Probably the biggest Hollywood-produced movie since Memoirs of a Geisha to feature an almost entirely Asian main cast of really interesting actors. Based on the popular novel by Kevin Kwan, it's a fish-out-of-water comedy starring Constance Wu from Fresh Off the Boat as a Chinese-American professor who accompanies her boyfriend to his brother's wedding in Singapore and discovers that previously unknown to her, said boyfriend is the estranged heir of Singapore's most obscenely wealthy and infamous family dynasty and gets swept up in the ridiculous drama of wealth, privilege, publicity, and bad behavior that engulfs them constantly, including the realization that an entire country full of ambitious young women consider her man to be the most eligible bachelor on the planet. Imagined by its author as an absurdist introduction to the rapidly changing world of Eastern ultra-rich, this sounds like a lot of fun. Number 3, Halloween. I stand by saying that Rob Zombie's 2 reimagined Halloween movies were highly underrated and add up to about 2/3 of a really interesting film in their own right, but I'm still very much psyched at this new soft reboot of the franchise being handled by the guys at Blumhouse with David Gordon Green directing from a screenplay by himself and Danny McBride. How cool is that? Where John Carpenter himself will apparently be involved in the production beyond accepting the royalty check this time. Intriguingly, this is a sequel to the original Halloween that will feature the return of Jamie Lee Curtis but will disregard the events of all previous sequels, which means it may also change or even dispose of the idea that Laurie is Michael Myers' sister, since that wasn't part of the Halloween plot until number 2. Can't wait to see how this turns out. Number 2, The Predator. Shane Black wrote Lethal Weapon, Monster Squad, The Last Boy Scout, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and then wrote and directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, and The Nice Guys. Oh, and he was also one of the actors in the original Predator, which he is now writing and directing the long-awaited franchise relaunch of, which will be set between the events of Predator 2 and Predators. If you ain't hyped for this one, why the hell wouldn't you be? Number 1, Black Panther. Guess we'll find out how this one went pretty soon, huh? Yes, fine, for all the pedantic cynics out there, it's a Disney Marvel movie, and that means its primary mission is to instill another hopefully merchandisable branded IP into the popular world consciousness. But pop art and pop culture are both still parts of art and culture. And just as no one seemed to fully comprehend what Wonder Woman would end up meaning to global audiences of women, I don't think people are fully prepared for what it already means for a black filmmaker and predominantly black cast to have made the first major blockbuster-scale sci-fi movie to embrace Afrofuturism as a visual and narrative aesthetic. Marvel got where they are as a studio because their reliable template actually leaves a lot of room for originality and innovation, especially when it comes to characters and aesthetics. So even if this is just another story about a hero whose greatest attribute is also their core weakness, taking up a costume mantle they may or may not be ready for, and battling an evil opposite who believes they deserve it more, in the important details, Black Panther is both a chance for millions of people to see their identities shown off and celebrated like never before, and something that in many ways none of us have ever seen on screen before. As I said for A Wrinkle in Time, if this works, it's a preview of the future of what global cinema can become. So there's the top 10. Next week, I'll tell you my 10 least anticipated movies, so come back for that. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is MovieBob, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on Geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of Geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MovieBob reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MovieBob Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MovieBob products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MovieBob production.